The team in Texas is aiming for a spot at the top of the Western Conference. The roster tweaking continues. We recap more dealing. Put a business together and team on the ice in 6 months? No problem. We'll explain. These stories and more right now on ECHL Week.
Welcome to ECHL Week. I'm Barry Schickling. A season ago, the Allen Americans were at the top of the Western Conference when play was halted. This season, Allen hasn't been doing quite as well in the standings, but they're certainly looking good in terms of a playoff spot. In speaking with a few members of the team, it seems the confidence level is high. Here's reigning ECHL Player of the Week Corey Mackin talking about Coach Steve Martinson's philosophy.
We need guys that compete. We need guys that play every game. So he says it every day. He said, if you're not going, you're not going to be going. Like it's simple as that. It's a simple saying, but I mean it makes sense. So you kind of have to bring it every game, regardless if you're a high scorer or a low scorer. If you're a low scorer and you're still playing well, he'll put you out there. So it's a battle every single game. So I respect it.
You know, everybody seems to really be buying in the defensive end of the puck right now. So we got all the skill, but we also have the guys that are committed to playing D. So I think we have a good mix this year. We're a physical, strong, defensive-minded team. I know we're not as high scoring as we've been in the past, but I think we have a lot of guys that can, we're all ready to contribute. And I think a lot of guys are about to break out. So I think the scoring's going to come, but I think I think this is definitely one of the most physical and defensive-minded teams I've been on.
I think it definitely is a pretty deep league this year with this team sitting out. I mean, you have guys from all over, from different teams playing, again, that were signed with different teams that are playing for other teams this year. And those top guys might be secondary scoring on certain teams but would be top guys normally around the league. So I think it's just a deep league this year and a pretty skilled league. So it's night in and night out. It's good hockey.
The ECHL's top-scoring defenseman says the team realizes there's a lot left of this season, plus a playoff year that could run into July.
I think, we're a mature team, so I think we kind of know what we need to do. The nice thing is we have really good facilities down here to be able to do that, which always helps. And obviously the nice warm 80-degree weather, being able to hang out in the sun and whatnot is also just mentally refreshing. I know a couple guys were hanging out by the pool today. Our schedule, it's not easy, the rest of the year, and a lot of games coming up, and you just got to be able to get ready to be mentally prepared and physically prepared.
We went on a stretch about this past month that we weren't playing. We were still winning games, but we weren't winning as much as we should have and wanted to. So we're kind of focusing on that right now. I think we can climb. I think we can win more games than what we have been. I think we can be playing better than what we have been. So that's kind of our focus right now.
We don't want to give up too much ground. You don't know, games could get canceled. Teams are playing less games. I think it's a little bit frustrating we don't get to play Fort Wayne because I think we're pretty similar level of quality teams, but it's unfortunate that they're playing less games. So, it's just too bad we can't play teams like that. But I think, our mindset is to win every game and secure a playoff spot for sure.
Lancaster credits Asachuk with his leadership skills in helping the team, which is the second youngest in terms of average age in the ECHL.
He's obviously our captain and a big time vet in the league, and he's a great guy. He's always joking, and we're actually pretty close, so we give each other quite a hard time.
I don't think we've run into anybody that I thought wow, these guys are good, really good. I think everybody seems to be pretty good, and I think we're definitely one of the front runners in that department.
There are a couple notable deals to mention as we take our look at news from around the ECHL. Indy acquired forward Connor Bleakley, defenseman Cale Detzel, and future considerations from Allen in exchange for defenseman Darian Skio. Bleakley has considerable AHL experience. Skio is a rookie pro. After the trade, the Fuel placed Detzel on team suspension, so if he decides to resume his playing career, the Fuel have protected his ECHL rights. He hadn't played with the Americans since March 24th. The Americans also made another deal, shipping forward Frank Dichara to Greenville for futures. Dichara, who spent the last 2 seasons in Reading, joined the Americans in mid-March. Don't forget that next week is our annual trade deadline show. We'll have the entire list of deals so you'll know where your team stands heading into the late stages of the season. Don't Don't miss it.
Highlights coming your way when ECHL Week continues.
First-time buyers make up 35% of U.S. home sales. New buyers can benefit early by working with an experienced, trusted real estate advisor. In the Pacific Northwest, Will Springer is your trusted advisor for buyers and sellers. For a free consultation or to find a real estate agent in your area of the country, contact Will today.
One of the league's new teams for next season now has a president who knows the ECHL very well. Brian McKenna was the commissioner of the league for 16 seasons before stepping away in 2018. As we reported last week, McKenna has joined the team in Coralville, Iowa, and he's got 6 months to get everything ready to go for that team to hit the ice for the beginning of next season. He said planning is a real key.
Kind of do it in circles. Each area of the business, hockey ops, business operations, communications, ticket sales, you name it, in trying to have the bigger goals outlined there that might be certainly somewhere anywhere from a month to 6 months down the road, and then continue to whittle away at those, on a day-to-day basis.
Of course, fans are curious about the hockey side of the business. McKenna, who was named as the ECHL's top executive 21 years ago with Trenton, talks about his philosophy in hiring for that segment of the team.
It would be a benefit if it's somebody that knows the league, has been involved in the league either as a head coach or assistant coach before. But in my experience, you're always better to keep an open mind. I've always been impressed with the quantity and quality of applicants you get for a head coaching job. I think back to Trenton, you mentioned that, and the first coach we hired there was Bruce Cassidy. Bruce has gone on to have a great career. The guy who was the runner-up that time actually ended up beating us in the conference final that first year and went on to have a very substantial career as well. We also had Mike Haviland come through our program. We had Troy Ward come through our program. We had Peter Horchak come through our program, and went on to coach in the National Hockey League as well. So I didn't know any of those people before we hired them. And again, I think if you keep an open mind, if you are willing to look at candidates that come from various backgrounds, I think a lot of times you're surprised at the quality of people that do apply.
Another area of both strategic importance and fan concern is NHL and AHL affiliations. In this area, being part of the Deacon Sports and Entertainment Group, which also owns the Newfoundland Growlers and the new team in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, will save McKenna a few steps.
Glenn Stanford, again, I'm lucky that Glenn has been having those conversations with teams over the past several months, narrowing in on something there in terms of an announcement. And he's been great in terms of doing the legwork. He's got a long history in the American Hockey League, knows a lot of folks both at that level and the National League. So he's been real valuable in terms of leading the charge there. So we're getting close, and again, hopefully that's something that we'll have an announcement on here in the very near future.
May should be a big month for this team. Announcements regarding the team name, logo, colors, and some key personnel are expected then.
So training camp will basically be open here in 6 months. So that's a very short time frame, but we'll find a way to get everything done and crammed into that 6-month period and do it in a professional manner.
Time for some highlights on our Best of the Week segment. All sorts of activity leads to the first goal of this game for Orlando. Tyler Bird gets the credit for the score which helped the Solar Bears to a victory in Greenville. Perhaps you can figure out how this shot by Tulsa's Greg Burmaster gets into the net. We're still not sure. But it got the Oilers off to a good start on the way to a shutout win over the Rush. Fort Wayne's Olivier Galipeau takes a few swings at this puck before it finds the back of the net, and it's an overtime game winner versus Indy.
What a night for the Fort Wayne Comets!
Confusion behind the net here leads to a breakaway for Jacksonville's Derek Lodermeyer, and he makes Florida pay during last Saturday night's win. Goaltender Matt Jerusik of South Carolina made his pro debut last week against Wheeling in impressive fashion. He made 40 saves in a shootout win over the Nailers. Here are a few of them.
5 minutes on the year. That was a mistake. And no, Mr. Shorty in a lone save.
And this is Wichita goaltender Hayden Levine in his first game back with the team after an AHL call-up, making as fine a glove save as you'll see anywhere. That was quite a save. That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. As always, we appreciate that you do. And on top of that, don't forget our trade deadline show debuting next Friday. Take care. Stay safe.